Hello everyone, it's your boy, Calculon, and today we're going to be modeling a 2D pixel art sprite in 3D in TinkerCAD. Let's get into it. All right, I'm on my dashboard on TinkerCAD.com, and you can see I've got a 3D Yoda here that is complete. I've got a 2D Meliodas here that I've done the 2D art for, but I need to give some depths so he can be a thick boy. And I'm going to be creating a new design today with the intention of modeling Kirby. So this is the 8-bit sprite from the NES Kirby's Adventure. I'm going to be modeling him in 3D today. So let's start by just rendering him in 2 dimensions in TinkerCAD with the blocks. Create a new design. Make sure you're logged in so that it'll save your work automatically. So I'm just going to drag a box over here. And Kirby is large, but he's not that large. So I'm going to change the size of this a little bit. I'm going to make this a 10 by 10 by 10 unit cube. So I'm just going to click and hold shift to scale uniformly the sides until all of them are 10 units. I could have also just manually changed these sliders. Now, if you're unfamiliar with some of the commands I'll be using, Control C to copy, Control V to paste, merging, moving, rotating, etc., you'll probably want to familiarize yourself with those commands in my tutorial or the TinkerCAD tutorials before you get into this. Go ahead and watch those tutorials, okay? Thanks. All right, so let's figure out how wide Kirby is. Kirby is a thick boy, and he is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 pixels wide. So this is an pixel. I need to make 16 of these for my width. So I'm just going to copy and paste this. I click and hold shift to move only along the x-axis and make sure these are adjacent to each other. Perfect. And then I can kind of multiply this 2 to get 4. Multiply my 4, copy, paste to get 8. And finally, Control C, Control V, copy, paste my 8 to get 16 cubes in a row. I am going to first just decide that most of this art is pink. I'm not going to do the black bold outline since I'm going to be modeling this in 3D, and a all black Kirby is not going to look like Kirby. So let's just make this light pink our primary color for everything we're going to be working with. I'm going to change this to a light pink, which looks almost purple to me, which is fine by my accounts. All right, I'm going to copy this whole row, paste it, I'm going to hold shift, move it onto itself so that I can then move it up. So now I have too high. I have a 2 by 16 grid. Copy, paste, move it onto itself, move it up. Then I have a 4 by 16 grid, and so on. Copy, paste, onto itself, move it up. Make sure you move exactly 40 units here, because that was 41. And once we start to get dealing with larger numbers, you want to make sure you're working in integers and snapping to the spaces you were already on. There you go. And this should finish us off. Let's scroll up a little bit so we can make sure we land this correctly. All right, should go up 80 units. All right, so now I have 16 by 16 mini grid spaces here. And I'm going to start just removing what I don't need. So we'll start at the very bottom row. So at the very bottom row, on his little tippy toes, I do have a 3D image of Kirby here. You can notice his little booties are red when you look at him in Smash Brothers or any of the more recent video games. So these I'm going to treat as a darker red and then use the 2 shades of pink for his body. So let's start with his boots. And I'm going to notice that 1, 2 pixels are missing on the left. 1, 2. I'm going to hold the shift button to select multiple cubes at the same time, delete those. And then he's going to be tip-tapping on his Jordans for 2, and then we're going to delete 1. And then it starts to go up, and that'll lead into his body. Okay, so what does it look like? It goes up for 1, 2, 3, 4 pixels on the left here. So 1, 2, 3, 4 pixels, delete those. And then it comes in for 2 more. All right, and then diagonally down from here, this will make up his shoes. So I can hold shift and select multiple pixels until I have them all selected that I would like to make his shoes. So first shoot.
Player 2 defeated. Congratulations! This game's winner is Kirby.
We have a 2D Kirby Sprite. I'm gonna add some of the dark pink to the outline of his hands, just to give it a little bit more form and feeling to being 3D, but we'll fix that later. All right, so we've got a Kirby Sprite. I'm gonna be building out Kirby and making him a thick boy, since he is right now a very thin boy. So how do we go about this? Well, we can just take literally everything, copy it, and then paste it. Let me change my angle so this will play nice with me. Onto itself. And then I need to move it forward 1 pixel in this direction. Or 10 units. Now, why did I do that? Well, he's thick, but he's going to be just a still 2-dimensional, just have some thickness to him. I would like him to be a sphere with some little arms on him as well. So what I might now do is I'm going to use that dark pink. I'm gonna copy it all and I'm gonna cut off the pink because that's doing the most. All right, I don't want to deal with that selection tool for all that time. All right, move it onto itself. I need to go to the back view to make sure I got it because I think I'm off by a little bit. There we go. Okay, and now I'm gonna move it forward till it's adjacent to here. Perfect. All right, now I need to give it some 3D shape. I'm going to start trimming off some of this pink to kind of make the sphere spherize. Okay, so hopefully he starts to look a little bit more real as we continue to work with this. All right, I'm also going to start to shape his feet, since his feet certainly aren't giant blocks. They also taper down to points. We'd like this to start tapering down so that he looks like a sphere from all sides. All right, so I'm just going to get a straight on from the right side. Oh, straight on as I can get to select all these pixels. Copy, paste. Now I am going to take some creative license with this because his face ended up kind of off center. I'm just going to change these pixels and move them 1 to the left. So let's make these all pink and let's just select pixels 1 to their left and put his face over here. Same with his mouth, so he's not all cockeyed. Let's put it right here. So now we have Kirby face. I'm going to actually get rid of this. Make that a normal pink and have this carry on back here. So from the front, we have a Kirby who's a little bit more centered, but from the side, we're approaching a sphere, which looks good enough for me. So now we need to do the very careful and tricky process of selecting exactly half of Kirby, copy, and paste. And I'm lagging myself. Once it highlights everything, we're going to rotate that. So we need to rotate that 180 degrees. And then move it back in Z space so that it butts up against the rest. All right, let's try from the top. There we go. All right, it is now abutting. Okay, so I just need to mash up. It looks like the arms aren't symmetrical, but most of the rest is. So let's fix the arms. So how does he look from the front and back? Kind of spherish. I'm going to make a little bit more depth in the back. And obviously, having two faces is kind of freaky. So let's fix that right now. Let's get rid of all of this and make it just the standard pink. All right, so now he has a clear face and a butt. The sides and the back, they don't look bad. Okay, so I like his arms. His arms are fine. Now I do need to make his feet look right because they don't at all right now. Let me just delete this little extra foot over here since it's the mirrored version of my front left foot. And let's just take the pixels that I had protruding from the front left and move them to the back left. So let's grab, always wants to rotate on me. Grab these, paste them, and I'm going to move those back in space, back in space. Let's make sure these align correctly over here. All right, so that makes his left foot. I'm going to do the same thing with his right foot. And we've just got these 4 cubes up front. Actually, his right foot turned out all right. All right, so we now have our Kirby. Hopefully this has been helpful and you can now get kind of a feel for how you can start to make this process more efficient. There is a lot of artistic interpretation since I didn't find a sprite that had both the side view and the front view and the top view and the bottom view of Kirby. So I just had to kind of make my my own artistic judgment on how he would look in 3D.